Jazzy, what do you think? Do you like it? Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is an unboxing and first impressions of the relatively new Givenchy Teint Couture Everwear Foundation and Concealer. I also have a third product. This is the Givenchy Hedra Sparkling Luminescence Moisturizing Jelly Cream. So we'll be unboxing these and trying them out together. All three of these products were sent to me complimentary to review from Givenchy. They didn't sponsor the video in any way. They simply asked for an honest opinion. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. And I am very excited to try out more products from them simply because before my lipstick video, I hadn't tried anything and I was so impressed with all four of the lipsticks that they sent. And you guys even had so many great recommendations from the skincare, the foundations, the eyeshadows. People were recommending different powders and bronzers, and I still am waiting to get my hands on a couple more pieces from them. But I've been very happy so far with everything that I've tried, so I'm very excited today. I don't have anything on my face right now, just a little concealer on this blemish. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm gonna go in first with this Hedra Sparkling Moisturizer. It's a jelly cream, which I did read on their website. It's supposed to be incredibly lightweight. It has amino acid derivatives and Alpinia galagongal, some sort of ginger plant extract. We'll just call it that. So when you open it up, and I've opened this box before and then I was taken aback and I closed it back up and I thought we need to do this on camera. So you get a little pamphlet of information, and then this is the jelly cream, which I think this is so beautiful. I love the packaging. It is very luxurious looking. I find it kind of interesting that the Hedra Sparkling Skincare line contains a ginger plant extract because it just sort of reminds me of Hedra Beauty from Chanel, which also contains blue ginger. It's the camellia oil, the PFA, the polyfractioned active part of the camellia, and then blue ginger. Those are sort of the active botanicals within that skincare line. So the fact that this also has Hedra, it's blue, it has some sort of ginger in it, I thought that was kind of an interesting comparison. Not good or bad, it just sort of something that got me thinking. So I'm gonna go ahead and open her up, and it's completely sealed, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel this back. Ooh. It has a very light fragrance. It smells very fresh, clean. It's so subtle. It's not like the Hedra Beauty from Chanel, which has a very distinct scent. And I'm just gonna wipe this from the lid. Feel the texture. It's like a gel cream. It's very lightweight. I really like the scent. I know I'm not a huge fan of fragrance in my skincare, but it's just sort of one of those things you almost have to accept. Most brands do it. It doesn't come with a spatula. That's the only concern I have at the moment. So I do have clean hands. I'm gonna go ahead and just, oh wow, that texture is so interesting. It really is like jelly. Look at that. Okay. I generally do not like putting my fingers in a jar like that, but gotta do what you gotta do. I really like the way it feels. It's very cooling, refreshing. And now let's go into the foundation. The Teint Couture Everwear Foundation is 24-hour wear. It has a satin finish, full coverage and comfort, and it has SPF 20. According to the website, there are 20 shades available, and each one has either a pink or a yellow undertone to fit a wide variety of skin tones. They also contain glycerin and licorice extract, which is meant to comfort and help hydrate the skin. I love the packaging. I think the glass bottle is very sleek. You of course get the really pretty Givenchy logo on the top, and it looks very beautiful. I didn't see any application instructions or directions or tips or anything like that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this the way I normally would with my flat top kabuki brush. And I have the shade Y300, which I sort of blindly ordered. I had really no idea what shade I would be, so hopefully this works. I think this is probably it's a Y, so I imagine it's a yellow undertone. It definitely looks sort of yellow. But I think for me that's better than pink. And I did sunless tan, so my body has a little bit of color, which is why I went with the 300 instead of a lighter shade. Okay. It's not a bad match, not at all. Considering I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. Yeah, I think the color is perfect. Thank goodness, that could have ruined the entire review. I really like it. You get really great coverage with a little bit of product, which I love. Because I'm a medium to full coverage foundation person. That's what I personally prefer, or at least for most occasions. But I don't like anything to feel too heavy on the skin either. It's really hot and humid outside, and sometimes a full coverage foundation can feel really heavy and thick. I really like the satin finish as well. It looks sort of like a natural finish. It's not super matte, it's not super luminous and dewy either. It's sort of right in the middle, which is what I expect from satin. That's sort of what I think of. It's kind of like a natural skin, a little bit of glow, but not too much. I love the way this has dried down. I think it feels really nice. It feels lightweight. It looks really perfecting, but not super heavy. Like I really can't see it on the skin the way sometimes a full coverage foundation just sort of sits there and goes into the pores, and it's so obvious that you have a full coverage foundation on. I don't really think that's the case here. Another thing I'll say right off the bat that I really like is that even though it is a yellow undertone, the undertone isn't so extreme that it looks odd on the skin. I think sometimes certain brands will try their best to create a range that fits so many different undertones that they end up looking too orange, too gold, too pink, and then it doesn't really look like skin. Whereas this leans warm, it leans yellow, but it doesn't look anything out of the ordinary. It looks like a good match for an actual human being. I would compare it right now to perhaps my Dior Forever Glow. Even though it doesn't have the same amount of luminosity, I couldn't really compare it to any matte foundation because it really does not have that matte appearance. I think it goes on very lightweight. It gives great coverage for how little I used, and you can build it up and it still doesn't appear very heavy. So right now I'm incredibly impressed with both the jelly moisturizer and the foundation. So next I'm going to go ahead and throw on this concealer. This is the Tint Couture Everwear Concealer. It also has glycerin and licorice extract. But that's really it. I didn't see any other special ingredients for either of the makeup products. Ooh. Again, the packaging is beautiful. This glossy clear packaging with the silver cap and then the Givenchy logo. That's very beautiful. There are 10 shades of this concealer. It's meant to have a soft focus powder to blur and smooth. It's a waterproof formula, buildable coverage, and a heart-shaped applicator. it basically is a doe foot applicator. I suppose it has a little bit of a heart shape. I'm not sure if that really serves a purpose or if it's just sort of cute and clever. All right, so I'm gonna do a teeny tiny bit and then we'll see if we need any more. And the shade I have in this is 20. And I'm just gonna blend that out with my Sigma Tapered Kabuki. I think the shade is a good shade because I did choose a foundation that matches me while I have Sunless Tanner on. So it's not too brightening, too light, but it's light enough that I do get some brightening. I don't want it to be too much of a stark contrast. And the concealer is meant to have a radiant finish, not satin. So go ahead and do the other side. I'm just doing 3 dots. It looks very pretty. Slightly radiant, but not super goopy. It's not too thick. Let me feel. It has a lot of slip. It almost has that like silicone type feel to it. It's very smooth, not too thick. I don't think it'll be an issue settling into fine lines, but of course time will tell. And I like the coverage that it gives. I think it's really pretty. My initial thoughts on the concealer is that I really love it. I think it plays very nicely with the foundation. The two are the perfect match for one another in terms of how they finish and how they blend together. But I really enjoy the concealer. Now that I have my concealer on, I can say with certainty that this is probably not going to be a good combination for somebody who's looking for something very lightweight. Not that it feels heavy, but it's definitely a more full coverage combination. So if you have hyperpigmentation, if you have rosacea, if you like more coverage but you don't want it to feel heavy on your skin, this would be a great combination for you. If you want something incredibly lightweight, this is probably not it. Now that my makeup is complete and I see the finished look, I feel like I can give a much better judgment on these products. So I'm going to go through them one by one, starting with the Jelly Cream, or the Hedra Sparkling Luminescence Moisturizing Jelly Cream, I should say. I really like this moisturizer. I think it's the perfect daily moisturizer, a great prep step for foundation. I think that the foundation laid so well because I went in with this only a few minutes beforehand. So something like this is going to be very lightweight. It's a gel texture, but it still has incredible hydration power. And this is kind of a necessary step when you're going in with a satin or a matte finish foundation. So I really like this. I think it looks beautiful. The smell is great. My skin feels very hydrated, but not overly so. You know, it's not too oily. Nothing feels very heavy. And I think something like this is great as a primer really for your foundation. So I'm really happy with the moisturizer. The foundation is sort of a unexpected love for me. I thought I would like it, but I didn't really have a lot of expectations, to be quite honest. It could go either way. It's very thin. It gives great coverage. I like the color. I love the way it looks. When I look very close up in my compact, I think it sits really nice on the skin, which is really important, especially for something that gives you full coverage. It's not accentuating pores or fine lines. It has almost a soft finish. I think it's really great for anybody with normal skin, definitely. But it's not too dewy, it's not too matte, so if you're incredibly dry or you're incredibly oily, you could sort of prep your skin and probably get great results out of this foundation because it is sort of middle of the road. And the concealer, last but not least. I really love the concealer as well. I think the color choice was spot on. It's not too bright. I like the texture and the consistency. This is probably the closest thing I've found to the Chanel concealer. And that is a bold statement because that is my favorite concealer, and I like a lot of concealers. I don't love them. We'll see how this wears throughout the day. That is really the ultimate test with any concealer. But right now, in terms of the radiance, the coverage, just the feel of it, this is kind of the most comparable thing that I can think of that I own. Everything else is either too thin or too thick, maybe too matte. They just don't, they're not the same at all. Considering how many concealers there are on the market, it would be nice to have another option besides my Chanel concealer. And right now, this is sort of in the lead for second best. I wouldn't say I love it more than my Chanel concealer, but I'm excited to keep playing around with it and we'll see what happens. I really think they did a beautiful job with this. Everything is meant to be incredibly long wearing, so I am going to wear this to work, see how it lasts, and that's really going to be the ultimate test with the foundation and concealer, of course. I actually worked out before I came to work and I had my makeup on, and I'm so impressed with how this foundation is holding up. There are no signs of it breaking up whatsoever. So far, really impressed. After a 12-hour day, my makeup is just about flawless. Needless to say, I am so impressed with this foundation and concealer. Both have held up phenomenally. And that completes today's unboxing and first impressions video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me any of your comments or your questions down below. Of course, I will be linking all of the products that I used today on my face down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.